Hi everyone, in this video I'm again going to address the topic of loneliness in relationship using another example here of a real person, a real life person, and many women like her have experienced something similar to this as presented in this video, in this story. And even if people might think someone has been melodramatic or it's a fictional story on Reddit or YouTube, it doesn't matter because this is actually what many women experience in their life, and I identify with her because I experienced something similar, not exactly the same, but I was in a similar situation like hers. And so what did this woman experience in the story that she's narrating, or whoever, an AI person might be narrating this story, but in this story she is in a relationship of 7 years. She has given birth to a child, and her boyfriend, who is a surgeon while she was a nurse when they initially met, he has continued working in his profession, but the girlfriend hasn't been working. She has become a stay at home wife like person. She might have become this person who is staying at home because of her pregnancy and then childbirth reasons. So let's assume in the 7 year relationship, maybe in the first 4 years or 5 years, she was also working like him, but in the last 2 or 3 years of this narration, she might have stopped working when she became pregnant. She might have experienced some pregnancy related health issues, which could have led her to decide quitting her job to take care of her pregnancy and her health. And then after she gave birth to the child, she might have been raising the child for a few months or a few years now, so we don't know how old the baby is, but let's assume the baby is a 1 2 year old baby. So for at least 2 to 3 years, this woman might not have been working for a while, and she is also financially now dependent on this guy mostly for all their financial needs of the child care taking and women's health issues and everything that a newborn child's mother and a newborn might be experiencing, might be adding to this surgeon's personal life related responsibilities now. Now, most people in the comments, or some people in the comments, are telling her to do a. The guy actually mentions to her that because he has seen many people being saddled with children who are not their biological children, he is suspecting that this child may or may not be his, and he wants her to do a paternity test. Now, the reason why he is doing that is very evident in the story itself, because he is the one who has cheated on their relationship for a few years now, and every time he has had cheating related indiscretions, he has promised possibly to her that he will change. Otherwise, I'm sure a woman wouldn't continue in a relationship. But even if men don't promise that they will change, there are many women globally who are also the sort of women who think that once they are in a relationship, and if they are really in love with their spouse or partner, or if they believe in the faithfulness and loyalty that relationship should have based on their religious or other moral beliefs, many such women, and sometimes men also do this, but in this case it's a women's issue, but when people are that level loyal, that level in love with their partners, that level wanting to have a equitable relationship with their partner, many people decide that it is okay to accept the cheating of the partner, because most of us hold this belief that you have to accept your partner the way they are, right? And because most of us hold this belief that you have to accept the partner the way they are, and also because many people believe in this long term life long love related, which wasn't a myth previously but nowadays has started becoming like a myth, that long term love may not happen, or even though you may want to have a long term love with someone, those people whom you are in love with, they do not believe in that myth, or they consider that to be a myth. Because of this reason, this guy is self-sabotaging his relationship. He doesn't believe in long-term love. He may not actually be deeply in love with this girl. He may be a narcissistic personality too. He may be a selfish and immature guy as well. These are the reasons why many men end up cheating in their relationships. He might be even unhappy in the way in which his relationship functions with this girlfriend. But instead of expressing verbally and authentically expressing the problem zones in their relationship, instead of taking the time to address where they can both mutually work to understand each other at a deeper level, this guy doesn't do that soul searching, and instead it's easier for him to go and find someone who is stroking his ego, which is a problem with many men. This can happen in opposite genders too, but usually it's a male problem, because men are the one who been that the society has been patriarchal for many centuries. Most men have gotten used to being praised by their family systems and cultures. And if you are also a clever and high IQ holding person, because a surgeon can't become a surgeon without being really highly intelligent, clever, competitive, all these top end characteristics that society wants from their leaders and doctors and surgeons. These characteristics are also the characteristics that breed narcissism and selfishness in humans. It can only stop breeding narcissism and selfishness in humans, or immature behavior in humans, when people are, guided by their friends, family, social system, social circle, to do better, to be fairer, to be kinder, to be more empathetic, to be more understanding of the either the opposite gender, or a person who is not as clever as them, or a person who may not have as much riches and access to good privileges in their life, someone who is their spouse, someone who is their girlfriend, someone who is their mother, father, parent, friend, in distress related to work or finances and things like that. Anyone who is actually less than them in some aspect of living, less than meaning how society views something to be great and something to be not so great. So I don't mean at the humane level or humanity level any one of us is less than another human being, but in social terms, societal terms, socioeconomic terms, if someone is intellectually a surgeon quality person intellectually, and they meet suddenly a nurse who is not as intellectually as high IQ as a surgeon has the potential to demean the nurse. And it's not necessary that he will just simply demean the nurse. If he's a surgeon working in a particular hospital and he has 10 different co-workers, and IQ wise, let's say he is the highest IQ in the whole 10-20 co-workers that he works with daily, or at least regularly, monthly in his life, he might be high IQ in comparison to the other 10 people. But without the other 10 people working with him, say there is a technician who is doing some technical work in the surgery, what is the technical term? Right now I'm blanking out, even though I'm a healthcare person. But operation theatre. In the operation theatre, a technician might be needed. In the operation theatre, an assistant might be needed. Physician assistant might be needed. A nurse might be needed. A resident might be needed. There are like that. If you've watched Grey's Anatomy, even though it's a fictitious show, you can see in a surgery, apart from the surgeon, there are at least 5-6 other people taking part in a complex surgery. Even if it wasn't a complex surgery, say it was a simple surgery, even then in simple surgery, sometimes at least 2-3 people are needed to do that surgery. And that is just when the surgery is happening. But before the surgery, scheduling the appointment, scheduling the operation theatre, managing the operations of the surgeon, taking appointments for the surgeon, giving medicines to the patients after the surgery, There are so many other ancillary staff. Then there are staff who have to clean the surgery room. There are staff who have to ensure that the hospital stays bacteria and germ free and safe for the people who are getting surgery in the hospital. So many people are needed. So do you only need a high IQ person to make a surgical place really financially and morally and ethically safe for the patients? No. In order for a place to have safety for its patients, while the surgeon might be bringing money, if the surgeon is extremely skilled and high IQ, and he's the one that's why getting the most pay also, apart from the surgeon, the 5 to 10 other additional staff who make the surgery successful, they don't get credit for making the surgery successful. They don't get credit for smoothing the process of surgery for the patient. They sometimes don't even get credit for ensuring that the patient's health is safe post surgery. But there are many other hospital staff who are involved in this whole process related to a surgery. This is similarly same way true for any other profession, but because this is an example of a surgeon, I'm explaining this related to surgery, especially because I've worked in healthcare, I've worked in hospitals. I've not directly worked with any surgeons, except some oral procedures I have done in India. But even though I've not worked with surgeons, I have an inkling theoretically of what happens in a surgery table, what happens in a hospital, because I had to theoretically and practically interact with nurses, technicians, pharmacists, doctors, other staff of a hospital when I was interning there. So I have an inkling, I have a theoretical knowledge, and based on even shows like Grey's Anatomy, you can fill in the rest of the blanks related to what goes on in the surgery. And even if you weren't a surgeon, say you were a school teacher, same thing applies in a school system as well. If you're a school teacher, university professor, again I'm giving teacher and professor examples because being a student, I know what teachers do partly, even though I don't know the details of what teachers do, because I've not done the teaching end, I've done a voluntary teaching end. But still, from the voluntary teaching end also, I understand a little bit about what teachers do. I have also been a graduate student in multiple universities in India and in US, so I understand how, and not just regular brick and mortar universities. I've also taken courses from online universities. Then from that, I have gained another side of experience about different kinds of teaching modules. So you can learn from another's experience by actually doing that work also, but also by being ancillarily involved in that work. How much you learn depends on the person you are, rather than what work you do. Sometimes what work you do is important, but sometimes what work you don't do can also be understood by someone who has the expertise to understand other people's experiences. So based on this capacity of mine, I understand how a doctor behaves with a nurse, because doctors behave like that with nurses, with pharmacists, with other normal humans in their life. And that's why it's typical of a doctor or someone who is high IQ holding person in any other profession that is other than a doctor's, like say a business leader or a sports personality or anyone who is winning at something. Sometimes when you are winning at something or great at something and have been great at it for a long time, you don't get checks and balances in place in your life. And even if checks and balances were coming in your life to help you learn something other than what you're doing in life, people sometimes ignore the warning symptoms and signals and changing phases of their life. So this doctor, when he met a nurse and who became his girlfriend, his surgeon, had the potential to learn from the experience of dating a nurse who is kinder, possibly, who has more humility, who has enough humility to learn that when she is sick or when she needs to take rest, she will take rest, because both of them have done medical school studies. Even though they have both done studies related to health and healthcare, who is the one taking rest, who is the one taking the time to decide that it's better for me to stay at home when some childcare related needs came up? She did that. And many times women do that, even if they weren't a doctor and a nurse, even if one was an engineer and a teacher. Then also many women do that. They decide for the sake of the safety of the health of their child, safety of their own health, safety and security that they can provide to a baby that the baby needs when it's a 1 year 2 year baby. At those times many women globally take this decision to take a break from their work to take care of their childcare needs, right? So it's just that a doctor and a nurse should understand this at a deeper level than a normal human being might understand if they are not from the medical or psychological professional or a sociological professional. A sociologist will understand it better. Psychologists might understand this, the developmental stages of a child's life will be understood by them better. A doctor will understand the medical and healthcare aspects that a child might need when being taken care of, or when it was a small baby, or when a woman is recovering from pregnancy. Now, even though a doctor is supposed to understand this better, nurse is supposed to understand it better, many doctors, when they are in a profession for a long time, and if they have NPD tendencies, and if they have some desensitization starting to happen while they are practicing a particular profession, because these are the flaws that can happen to any human being. It's not simply about a doctor, but the consequence that a doctor's these kind of patterns in them will start manifesting is that they will be rude to their staff. They might get rude to their family, which is what he's doing here. Not just rude, they can get disrespectful to their staff, and because he wants to be a disrespectful kind, or he's getting towards that darkness, what is happening is he's manifesting that darkness for, and this is one aspect. Second aspect is when you are in a long-term relationship for a few years, after that initial sexual high has gone away, if a man is truly not in love with a woman, he starts to do that also. He will start testing the relationship, and not just voluntarily, but the universe also is testing the man. Are you capable of being the right partner for this woman? So the universe will also send him women who are interested in him, who are flirting with him, who are breaching his boundaries despite other women in his staff knowing that this doctor has a girlfriend. Despite women knowing that, some women will deliberately test him, because for them it's a challenge. Like, what does she have that I don't have, that I can't get this surgeon to be my boyfriend? So then some women will flirt with him because of that. Some women will flirt with him simply because they love to flirt with men. Some women want to sleep with men because they are going through a bad phase and they want to have sex with some random stranger. Someone might sleep with him or cheat with him or flirt with him. I don't know how much he breached the relationship. He could have slept with women and told her that he's not sleeping, it was just a flirting, or he could actually have slept with a couple of different women. And doctors and surgeons and men in uniform, they, or anyone who is in a powerful, more socially, again, whatever is socially considered to be a very glorifying position, very important position in life, those people tend to also attract more. They are like honey to which flies get attracted. That part is always there. Secondly, if a man is engaged, universe also will send you some testing phases where you are supposed to understand the metal of your relationship. Like, are you mature enough to be a husband, be a father, be a good long-term life partner for someone, or have you not developed the mature capacity, even if you are a 30-40-year-old man? Because I don't know what is his age. He could be a 25-year-old, but being a surgeon, I'm assuming he must be at least a 30-year-old person. So in his 30s, he might be in his 30s or 40s, most likely. He could be in his 20s, but 30s or 40s is the most likely range. And then being a popular surgeon, being someone who is highly sought after by the opposite gender, if he doesn't set this boundary of loyalty to his partner, is he being a good partner? No. So while this woman is doing her job of forgiving him, that forgiveness also requires that he, as a loving, loyal partner, stop messing around in his relationship with her. Because is he just simply by cheating, if he is sexually cheating on her, he is putting her physical health at risk. He doesn't, even if he is a surgeon, even if he is a doctor, He's deliberately risking the sexual health at the bare minimum level. But apart from sexual health, is that all that a relationship requires when you are together with each other as a girlfriend and a boyfriend for 7 years? No, a relationship also requires loyalty, a relationship also requires care, a relationship also requires support, a relationship also requires, now that they have a child, this man growing up to be a father to his child. Now, and it doesn't matter if he has cheated on her, and if say she hasn't cheated, I'm 90% sure she hasn't, 99% sure this woman hasn't cheated. But when a cheater cheats, he starts getting these doubts that she can also be cheating. And why will he get these doubts? Because he wants to justify his cheating. That's why he will instead want to, and because he's in denial, because he is immature, because he might be a narcissist, because he doesn't want to look imperfect in his own eyes, he's unable to look at himself as a person who can do any wrong, because of which he would rather blame it on her. That's why he is wanting to he's accusing her, or indirectly accusing her, by asking her to do a paternity test to see if the child they have is his. Now, this itself is a great violation of the whole reason why she should not be with him. She is in her mind being loyal to him, being faithful to him, being understanding of his work pressure, being understanding that him earning more money means that she should take time off job. Because you could also have had that she could have part-time taken off some time, and him being a surgeon, surgeries are usually a scheduled thing. So if a person is scheduling surgery, if he is that kind of a surgeon who is regularly scheduling his work, he could have reduced his scheduling hours as well. And if he had reduced his scheduling, say he was working 60 hours a week, instead of 60 hours, if he devotes only 30 hours to his surgeries or other hospital work, and then the rest of the time he takes to take care of the child care, which maybe this woman is starting to ask him that, can you take some of the child care sharing duties so that I can resume work now? Because you have to also understand, if a woman has not been working for 2-3 years, her savings are dwindling. And if she was a earning woman in the initial years of their dating life, when she was also earning, he was also earning, and if she was a balanced, equitable, fair, just human, she wouldn't have even expected the surgeon to give a lot to their relationship, financially or monetarily. So she would have contributed either equally, and sometimes women also end up contributing more to everything. So I have been this kind of a woman. That's why I know, when I was also a graduate student, my ex was also a graduate student. At that time, many a times my ex would come and visit me. I would rarely go and visit him in his home because he had roommates. I had roommates, but I had my personal space also in the kind of housing I was staying in. So he was the one who was mostly visiting me. And because he was the one who was mostly visiting me, I was the one providing him food, providing him shelter, providing him drinks. And he, being a man, being a traditional, if he was a traditional man, he would have someday thought that he should bring some groceries, someday thought that he should bring some drinks, someday thought that he should pay for our dates equitably or a little bit more. Never in the couple of years that I dated and we had an on and off relationship, not even once did he bring anything extra in terms of grocery, in terms of food, in terms of drink, in terms of women's needs, in terms, even when I felt sick, he couldn't help me with my sickness. I had a twisted ankle, he didn't help me when I had a twisted ankle. I went through a accident at the time also, he didn't help me. Only whatever I was verbalizing that I need help, like when I had a car accident where my car got totaled, and I asked him, can you take me to fix this car or go and buy a new car? That part he did. And at that time he wasn't even a boyfriend, we had broken up, but I had no other friends to ask for help, or he was the first one who came to mind to ask for help. So I asked him for help, he took me there as a friend to help me buy a new car. But other than that, everywhere else. When if you are really a provider, if you are really a boyfriend material or husband material person for a woman, you will go out of the way to help where help is needed. If you ask that I need help with X, but actually you need a help with XYZ, a perceptive person will at least try to ask you, do you also need help with Y and Z, while you have asked me help for X. Or a perceptive person not only will ask you, they will actually help you with the extra things you need help with. Because when most people, if they are not takers, if they are not abusers of another person's hospitality or help, extension of help, most people will not take more than what they have asked, and they will ask you much less than what they need help with. Most people. Of course, there are those antisocial personalities, narcissistic personalities, immature people who will ask more than what someone can give, who will not understand someone else's boundary of how much they can give. Those kind of personalities also exist. But an average balanced human being will not take more, they will try to take, in fact, less, even when they are in trouble. So this woman is in trouble, like when she possibly felt pregnant and had some pregnancy complications, or after pregnancy she decided that she wants to be closer to her child and take care of the child caretaking, and she decided, maybe I have enough money in my bank, so I can for a few years take time off and take care of the baby when she is a young infant and a toddler. So she did the wise move as a mother, wise move as a woman who has earned some money. And nursing being a profession where people can join the profession again after a few years, she's not been very impractical either if she took a few years working break, right? Because nursing is a profession, nurses are always required in the healthcare industry. So she has done her practical thinking wise and emotional thinking wise and actual child caretaking wise all the right decision making. But even though she is taking all these wise decisions, and she was also fair enough towards her boyfriend to forgive him when he was cheating on her, deciding that it is only a once or twice thing that he's doing. Maybe he gave her excuse that you were pregnant, you are not giving me sex, that's why I cheated on you. He could have told that to her. But you don't know in that 4-5 years before she got pregnant also whether he was actually cheating just because she was pregnant, or was he cheating because the universe was sending him people to cheat and he was ready to cheat because he doesn't care enough about her. Because if a man really cared about the woman he's dating, he will start becoming aware that these are distractions from outside sources to break my relationship. He will there are 3 ways a man can go when he is getting distracted by outside marriage or outside relationship people. If they are getting distracted by outside marriage and outside relationship people, if they continue to focus and give energy to those people, sometimes men cheat emotionally, sometimes men cheat sexually, sometimes men also cheat social and familial relationship wise, that they will give more time to their friends. Because I have had three of these types of men in my life. One who was cheating sexually and sexual boundaries wise, even if he was not having sex with people, he was having nasty phone sex with people. So he was energetically completely on a different page than me, and I couldn't take that. And sexually also, then eventually after in between breakup phases, he was cheating sexually also. You can't call that cheating. It is like a Ross Rachel situation where Rachel has broken up, Rachel is still thinking about the relationship, but Ross moves on and goes and sleeps with someone thinking that the relationship has ended. So in a Ross Rachel situation, men will be like supporting Ross, or those who love to sleep with people will support Ross, thinking that, oh, they were broken up. But that is not how. If you are really truly emotionally involved with someone, it shouldn't be that easy for you to go and sleep with someone else and immediately after a day or two of breakup. It shouldn't be that easy. But for some men who are narcissists, who are immature, who are not as deeply caring about their spouses, and their emotional attachment to their spouses or partners is not as deep, it is very easy for them to go and sleep with someone else. They don't care about the relationship anymore. If it is broken, to them it's broken, and that's it. It's very easy for them to cut off someone else from their life. So because of that reason also, some men can cheat. These people also, after being in a relationship of 7 years, they could have had those fracturing breakup phases also in their life. I don't know. But irrespective of whether they had these breakup phases when he cheated, or irrespective of when she was pregnant and busy with the childcare, and that's why he has been cheating in the last few years, the fact that when cheating scenario is also unfolding, whatever kind of cheating, emotional cheating, sexual cheating, phone sex cheating, whatever kind of cheating, and disloyalty, let's say disloyalty, because sometimes it's not cheating, sometimes it can be also disloyalty, that if my friends are asking me to go and party and go fishing, instead of taking care of my child and staying at home and nursing the child, or helping my wife nurse the child, like, because a woman needs a lot of help when she is taking care of a child. And in a nuclear family society that America has, and also other places are having currently, when a wife and a husband are only there, or a girlfriend and boyfriend are only there taking care of a child, the responsibility usually, even though it falls on the woman, actually speaking nowadays, has to be taken equally by both partners. If it is not, if not equally, equitably it should be taken. But that equitability is also missing in so many modern relationships. And as a result of which, even though this husband and surgeon's job is also very highly in demand job, like a nurse's, and also flexible job, many surgeons, some of the surgeons may not be as flexible, but let's put aside the non-flexible aspects of a surgeon's job, but the scheduled surgery that a surgeon does, if he wants, he can cut off from, if he's doing 30 surgeries in a, like, 30-hour surgery worth of surgeries in his work life, and earlier he used to do 60 hours worth of surgeries in his work life every week. If he has cut it down to 30, he still earns a lot of money. Yes, his surgery, because he's cut down his surgery hours, his money has halved. But imagine this woman, her money has not just halved, it has disappeared when she's taking care of the child. And if you don't consider all these things about your own wife or own girlfriend who is a mother to your child, what kind of a human are you, and who are you making all this money for? Do you understand? If you are a man who's making money for your family, who cares about your family, who wants to build a good family life, who wants to have a good love filled life, if that is your motivation and that is your goal, anytime someone comes to break your relationship with your partner, you have to realize why you shouldn't break your relationship with your partner just because of frivolous reasons. Because if your wife is not smiling, there's a reason why your wife or a girlfriend is not smiling at you right now. She is too tired from the pain of surgery possibly that happened during childbirth. She could not be smiling at you because she's having painful periods now after childbirth. She could not be smiling because she's exhausted from 24/7 taking care of a child with no help from the man or anyone else that she can think of. She could be exhausted because the man, even though she has some money, even the man, knowing that it is his child, should also be contributing towards her some financial health supportive needs. Like, if he is a rich enough surgeon, he can easily pay a doula or a part-time nanny to come and take care of some house caretaking. If not a doula and nanny to take care of the house and the child, they could hire someone for a few hours to just do the home cleaning. All these things men take for granted that the woman is doing when she is healthy and not given birth to a child. All of this fall apart when they are going through painful surgery, painful pregnancy related problems, or health related problems, and or health, physical health, emotional health, psychological health, plus child caretaking related problems. And a mother gives a lot to a baby. A mother has to give a lot to a baby when the baby is small. She gives physically that breast milk that the mother is feeding the child. That breast milk also, the quality of the breast milk that will be health supportive for the child, can only happen if the mother has a quality of health in her life. And that quality of health doesn't simply come from her taking a break from work and that's it. The quality of health will come from how much she's loved by her partner, how much support she's getting from her friends and other social systems, if she has those kind of social systems and friends to help her. But instead, if her friend only comes and backbites her and goes and cheats with her husband, then where will she doesn't even have time to find a new friend if her friend has been cheating with her husband. If her husband has been cheating with a friend or another co-worker, she had all her friends were her past co-workers. Where will she get that now new kind of friends who can help her with going through even the cheating, going through even the birth and other problems that she is facing? So she is very lonely, very isolated. Possibly that's why also many women suffer from postpartum depression. Apart from, and postpartum depression can happen if you just don't have enough child caretaking help, if you don't have enough right nutrition that you are taking, if you are constantly tired from working outside the home and inside the home and child caretaking, and no one else is there to share your burden. But in order, in this particular nurse's case, apart from these aspects of postpartum depression supporting factors that could be there in her life, she also has other depression supporting factors like the spouse is cheating, and now he is adding to her plate by accusing her of cheating when she has been, possibly 99% of most people with this same storylines case, that woman would not have been cheating. She wouldn't even have the time to cheat. 10 hours or 20, if you have a small baby, when you are pregnant, you are so sick, how will you think about sex? Most women will not think about sex. It's a myth that movies sometimes promote, that women get all horny and want sex during the last few months of pregnancy. Yes, maybe some women get that, but most women, I have this big bulky body, I'm not even feeling good about myself, you think I'm thinking of sex? No, that woman wouldn't have been thinking about sex during her whole pregnancy time, while the man might be thinking about it, because man anyways gets programmed by our sex related programming that happens from childhood or teenage years via porn and other things, to think that sex is the main important thing in life. But that is a man's burden that man had to work through to mature in life. That's I can bring religion in it, but there's the reason why religion talks about so many things related to sex being a sin. Sex becomes a sin when it becomes a necessity not for propagating your future generation, and when sex has gone beyond just a way to connect emotionally and at a deeper level with the opposite gender. That's when sex is a sin. Sex isn't a sin when two men, when a man and a woman are joined together and are engaging in it to show their love for each other. But when it is gone beyond love, when it is only about your lust and desire and ego, that's when sex becomes a sin. And this is the reason why him being a top class human in terms of, you know, how humans perceive someone, because he's a high earning surgeon, potentially smart surgeon, possibly even good looking one, he is going to attract a lot of people to be interested in him. But after that, if 10 people are interested in him, if he doesn't discern who's the right one for him, or if someone is showing repeatedly so much loyalty towards him, and if he is so callous and cruel, this is cruel behavior and abusive behavior actually. It's a covertly, it can be a covertly or overtly cruel and abusive behavior depending on how many such instances of abuse has shaped up in their 7-year relationship. That I can't say. But many men are this way, covert and overtly abusive. The covert abusive can be via financial abuse, where she is paying everything regarding childcare, and when she is requesting now that can you also start chipping in for the financial care, or take some 10 hours off from your work and take care of the child while I do the 10 hours of nursing work. She could have requested that. She could have requested some in between thing where she's possibly even asking some breadcrumb level of equitability from him. But many men, when they are men, or even women can do this too, but when some people are very privileged and have very adjusting and accommodating partners, even the breadcrumb level of help when their partners seek from them in troubling times or in difficult times where they do indeed need the right partner to help them in raising the child, at those moments of time they don't have the right supportive partner. If the partner doesn't understand their problems, then it doesn't simply remain a immature relationship or a relationship about cheating. It becomes a abusive and toxic relationship, and it's so many steps only that take you towards abuse and toxicity. The first time you do it may not be abusive and toxic. First time it may just simply be a conflict zone. But when you don't resolve your conflict zones in the right way, and you continue ignoring the reason why the conflict is happening, and you, if not ignore, you completely deny the reasons also, because this guy is now in denial. He is in denial that he is responsible for her having a job loss. He is in denial that he is responsible for her giving up her career for a few years and not earning money. He is in denial that he has been cheating continuously on her and been emotionally abusive to her and psychologically also impacting her health. He is in denial that if he doesn't take time off from work to take care of the child care taking needs, or at least give some financial help towards the child caretaking needs, that he is being an irresponsible father. And he doesn't want to acknowledge, because he's in such high denial and he doesn't want to acknowledge that about himself. What is he doing? He is accusing her of cheating. Now she can do a paternity test, but now she has to be very careful. She shouldn't do the paternity test in any organization that this man is affiliated with, because if he is that level narcissist or antisocial personality, he can even turn the reports and falsify the reports. That's why, first, if she does a paternity test, she should do it in a very neutral place where none of them have worked in the past or have any association working. And after doing the paternity test, if she knows she's never been disloyal to him, that child will be his. But if that test proves the child is his, she should technically try to get divorced or separated from him and ask him for child care support and just leave this guy. Because the longer she will stay in such a relationship with such a guy, he will continue to get worse and worse. Already in 7 years, he has shown his whole true colors. In the first few years, he might have been love bombing her or interested in her sexually because she was possibly a very hot looking, good looking, kind and beautiful and nice person. And all of these things attracted him to her, to sleep with her, date her long term, ask her to his girlfriend. But and that was the rosy phase. The first 2-3 years of the relationship was the rosy phase. If she stays stuck in thinking in the 7th year of their relationship that how he was in the first 2-3 years is what can happen again in her life, it can only happen again in her life. That love bombing, that love, that attention that he gave her, all these things can happen when the man feels like that about her, and man also feels mature enough to understand that a way a 7-year relationship should evolve and be should be very different from what a 2-year-old relationship was. And a 7-year-old relationship with a child in place has to have even more efforts from the man and women both. But if she is only the one giving all the maternal things to her child, all the maternal care to her child, all the love and whatever a mom is capable of giving to a child, she is giving it, and he is not taking even 1/10 of that responsibility, he is a bad father. He is not going to be a good potential father even in the future, because this is the pattern he has set and he's got stuck in his pattern. He is not able to wake up from his pattern. For him, every time his spouse or girlfriend is, in this case it's a girlfriend, but if in the future she has hopes also of marrying this guy and she becomes his spouse, he will not take care of her, because every time he is facing a challenging life phase. There is a way to go, the right way to go when you have challenges like this, when you know your responsibilities have increased, when you have to compromise your work ethic. Like, you know, if you earlier before the child you worked 60-70 hours, now you're not supposed to work 60-70 hours, you have to cut down. Universe is demanding that you cut down. But if you don't cut down, what is the consequence? You can continue being that surgeon who works 60-70 hours, but you will never have a quality life with your child and your spouse. And even if you had a quality life where the child and spouse are giving you a lot, you have accumulated bad karma with them in some future date, 10 years down the line. Otherwise it will combust in your life. It depends now how bad he is, how fair he was, how good he was, how balancing he was in the relationship. But so far in this 7 years narration of this girl's story, he doesn't seem to be a balancing spouse, fair spouse, loyal spouse, spouse quality material. Because you have to understand, if you have a child, if you are a boyfriend for long term, many, that's why many laws in US and many states in US have this common law wife related laws. Because if you are with someone for 7 years, you are, even if you're not married, you're considered as their common law wife, because you have been cohabiting with them and taking advantage of them, as how a man takes advantage of a wife, or how the man benefits from having a woman in his life. That benefit he has been getting. He's been getting a free cook, free maid, free sex, free emotional caretaking from this woman, whereas he's been providing her nothing, most probably. I don't know how much he's been providing, but he's highly likely to not be providing her anything. And because he's even more reluctant to actually provide her the meaningful fatherly care to the child, and meaningful financial care to the wife and to the girlfriend and the child, he is now coming up with all these excuses to not take care of them. Now he will nuisance, and some people who are really antisocial personality and NPD, they will, in addition to, if he was just simply an immature man, he just is seeking an excuse. Because I've met an immature man also who just seeks excuse in flirting with others, spending time in his joyful activities like going out hunting, fishing, gambling, whatever, drinking, partying with his co-workers. He will do all that, and that way he might be cheating on his girlfriend. There are others who will do that, plus they will also sleep with women. That is the sexual plus emotional cheating. Then there are others who will not, energetic cheating, where their energy completely goes away in having fun outside the home. Nothing at home they want to do, and they will use the excuse that I had 70-hour work day, do not give me crap. And they might give some money to the woman to take care of the child, but if child caretaking and home life and family life was simply about money, why are globally so many men and women lonely and unhappy in their relationship? Child caretaking, family life, love life is not simply about money. If he provides money, yes, he is doing a little bit better than many other men. But if he doesn't even provide money, if he doesn't even provide time, if he doesn't even give the energy, if he doesn't even give the love, if he doesn't even spend time with his kid and his wife at home life, at the stage of life when they do need him, they need him. If he wants to party, he can see, if you are a mature man, you will understand that 10 years later, 20 years later, this child will not need your child caretaking, will not need your time. In that 10 years, 20 years, you can build your career too. At that time, the child will not want to be with you. When they hit their teen years, at that time, that child may not need you as much. At that time, only your money might be needed. So at that time of life, in 10 years time, if you wait for that promotion that you're seeking right now, we have a delayed gratification of 10 years for it, or 20 years for it, in those 10-20 years, you could have had a quality of life experience with your own child and your girlfriend and wife. But instead, if you let go of that, and right now you are wanting just the frivolous fun, that frivolous fun of sex, or frivolous fun of hanging out, partying and drinking and boozing and other things, only leads to addiction, only leads to egoic needs being met. It doesn't ever satisfy any human being at the core soul level, because the core soul things needed for a human to actually be happy and joyful is missing. And for that, he needs to do self-reflection. For that, he needs to actually be deeply involved in love with his wife and his child, a deeply involved love that for his wife and child, which he can only get if he actually invests time and energy and care and thought. He can have those fun experiences even with his wife and children, but the fun experience that his teen self or youth self is seeking is different from a fun experience that a 30 or 40-year-old man is supposed to be having. And this, if men don't realize that what fun experience you're supposed to be having at a 30-40 years of age versus what fun you were supposed to be having at 20 years of age, if you don't distinguish that, you only end up causing your misery and future life direction that will be filled with misery. And this woman, if she also doesn't realize what quality experience she should be having with a boyfriend or a husband or a father of a child, she's doing a great disservice to herself And if she continues on this marriage for a few more years, or continues on this relationship for a few more years, her monetary energy, her sexual energy, her emotional energy, her everything will be depleted and taken away by this guy. And what will she be left with? She will be left with becoming a shell of her past self, with less energy, less emotional drive, less more depression or anxiety, more mental health illness, social health and emotional health illness, because the more she's only involved in caretaking the child and forgets about the rest of the socializing and other factors, key elements of life that are needed to balance her life as well as her child's life, will be missing from such a man who is not maturing enough to understand that the life they had 7 years back is very different from the life they have to have now, given the present reality of a life with a child. And if he is not able to do it, does it mean there are not other 40-year-old men who are capable of providing her that life? They are out there in the world. There are single men who are wanting to be fathers, can't be fathers, possibly maybe they have infertility issues, but they would be great fathers. Or there are men who had such toxic relationships in their 20s and they value a woman who is loyal, who is caring, who is flexible about her work life, who is ready to balance the work life. Now this guy, being a surgeon, he's not even maybe ready to even take 10 hours off or 5 hours off of his normal work schedule to give and devote that 5 hours, 10 hours to his child. But there could be another man who is not a surgeon, who may not be earning high level income like the surgeon. He could be earning a half the income or 1/4 the income of a surgeon, but that 1/4 income guy having a job that requires him only maybe 30-40 hours of work, rest of his hours of time will be devoted to his nursing wife and nurse who is nursing a child and the baby. That kind of a man exists somewhere out there in the world. But can she ever go to that man who exists out there in the world, who may not be as rich as a surgeon, who may not give her a expensive diamond ring or a expensive house to live in, but in the end of the day, a child needs expensive diamond rings or a fancy house to live, or a child needs a good father, a caring father, a devoted father, a father who is ready to provide the right time and energy to the baby and its mother. That is what a woman needs. So if this is the time point of her life where she needs to decide whether she wants to just get worn off dating someone and living in the glory of something that was possibly 5 years back the truth of the relationship, or should she face the reality of the relationship currently as it is. And in the as it is phase of this relationship, she is completely unequally yoked, unbalanced, depression supporting, health harm supporting, psychological, emotional, financial and other harm supporting relationship, which makes it a completely unequally yoked, disloyal, unfaithful, incompatible relationship at best, and at worst it is going to become a relationship that will become abusive or toxic in the distant future. And depending on how much mental illness this guy has, mental or social illness, because these are all mental and social illnesses of men or women who are selfish and immature. When you are in your 20s and 30s, it can just seem to be a selfish move, but when you are a parent in your 30s and 40s, a responsible, when you have decided to take responsibility of a woman and you are behaving in a particular manner, it doesn't simply stay as an immature relationship. It becomes it can become narcissism driven relationship. It can become even antisocial personality driven relationship, because some men, if they are really cruel, really high IQ EQ holding, but lack of empathy holding people, they are, and I've met those men also, they are capable of twisting every narrative in such a way to make a innocent person seem like they are the one torturing them. They will utilize their power, money, contacts to actually manipulate a situation to abuse this woman even more than what she is currently even stated in this story. Now, which type of man he is, I don't know, because that this story doesn't give us the detail of. But the same story can play out in 5 different nurses' lives, where one was simply have been with an immature partner. With good discussion and strategy and or counseling, those relationships can build into a better relationship. Other person could be with a immature yet highly stressed from work partner who doesn't realize what elements of his work life he should give away so that he doesn't feel this stressed. That also, with right counseling, right therapy, right discussion with the partner, can lead to some resolution. But there are 3 other types of partners. If it is a narcissistic partner, they will never bend their will to the partner's convenience or the child's convenience. They will constantly just want their life to stay at a same level of youthful energy or youthful work life experience and nothing else. They want to constantly be a 30-year-old with 40-hour work life or 70-hour work life, 20-30 hours of partying and sex with friends. That's what they want to be stuck at. And then there are some who may not be narcissistic, who may be narcissistic plus antisocial personality, who will deliberately torture the partner and bring things up in the partner's life so that the partner is constantly in stress. Those partners also exist. They will constantly create trouble. They're going and cheating not because they are sexually addicted to someone. They are cheating because after the sexual addiction, if they come and see the wife and tell to the wife that I'm cheating on you, blah blah blah, they derive joy from the pain of the partner. That is what gives them joy, because they are so mentally fucked up. And then there are socially irresponsible people who socially do not want to, they were not meant to be a father or a long-term spouse or supporting partner to anyone. They have not grown up enough. They have not understood the value of socially what is appropriate for a person of a 20-year age to do, 30-year age to do, 40-year age to do, and not just age. Along with age, if you have a wife, if you have a girlfriend, if you have a child, how much and evolution you need to be involved in, and in the relationship dynamics you're holding with your wife and partner and child, to have a quality relationship with them. What is socially required of you, what is emotionally required of you, what is financially required of you, what is required of you to balance the relationship. These are very deep things which only a man who is willing to listen to the woman and understand the role of a woman in his life is capable of understanding. And those men, if they are rare men, you have to go and first this woman, this nurse has to realize, or anyone like her who is going through some situation like this, it could be a man or a woman, first you have to realize that you deserve a certain quality of life with someone. If you don't realize that you deserve a certain quality of life with someone, certain balance in life with someone, certain love and caretaking and loyalty related parameters should be present in your life with someone, if you don't realize that this is what is needed, this is what you deserve, you will never even ever get to that. But in order for you to get to that, first you have to realize this. Second, you have to realize and take the energy at the right time to leave a toxic relationship before it turns really toxic that you can't leave then. Because that also happens. I've been in multiple relationships and I know how difficult it is when you are emotionally attached, sexually attached, even karmically attached with someone. It's very, very difficult to leave those people. But if you don't leave the people in the right time for you, or at least even if you are delayed in leaving them, but if you don't leave with the right realization why you are leaving them, you will never get to the possibility of meeting that right person for you then in the future. And even if she never meets any other guy who will take care of this child, even then she is much more capable of providing this child a better quality life than this child being raised by a man who is constantly sleeping with others, irresponsible about providing emotional, financial and other resources to his wife or girlfriend and child. Because the fact that he's questioning whether they are his child, that itself shows that he is incapable of being a good quality father. He could, with counseling and other things, change in life, but that change will take him another possibly 10 years, whereas this child and this woman are not at a stage in life that they can wait 10 years for him to make that change. He could become after they break up, 10 years down the line, if she meets him again, it is very much possible with another woman he did all the things that he couldn't do with her. But at this moment of time, what she needs, if he is not able to do that to her, with her, it is better for her if she leaves sooner, because then at least she will be financially independent enough to do something about this. And then knowing that she is single, then other people who could help her, who couldn't help her when she was tied to this guy, they could enter her life to help her. She could make other single women friends that she would never be able to make if she constantly sits and stays in the home being depressed and worried and praying to God that change my husband. But you can't change a husband who doesn't want to change. You can pray and you can want an equal relationship, but if you're praying for an equal, balanced, loving relationship, it doesn't mean that God will give you that equal, balanced, loving relationship in the form of the partner you chose initially sometimes, because those people were just meant to maybe just give you the baby that you have now. They were not meant to give you the life that you deserve. For you to earn that life that you deserve, you have to take the right steps to get to that life that you deserve. And I'm pretty sure if she leaves him and just goes and joins a part-time work as a nurse also, she will have a better quality life than she would if she stays with him. And then slowly, and it is not going to be easy. 7 years relationship is not very easy to get out of, and it might take her another 5-6 years to get out of the emotional and physical and financial and other repercussions of breaking off from this relationship. But her quality of life would still be much better 5 years down the line than it would be if she stays stuck to the man who is not willing to even give her breadcrumbs of love. And possibly this other video that I'm sharing, she's possibly going through these kind of discussions with her partner, where her partner is not able to even want to learn where things need to change, learn where things need to be different now that they are parents. And because I have met these kind of men, I have dated them, I have married them, so I know when a man is ready to listen, I know when a man is not ready to listen, I know when a man runs from a relationship because they are irresponsible and do not really care at the deeper level. They might say verbally that they love the person, but internally, in the actions that they are doing, in the choices that they are making, in the way that they present themselves to the world, there's nothing that the world will understand that shows that they actually love this woman or this child. And that's why also they are so easily able to attract so many other potential partners, because a man who's really loyal and ready to be committed to his partner, he knows, a man or a woman, they know how to say no to other outside influences to their relationship. Only those who don't know are the people who will attract like flies, because they want to be the honey. They don't care about not being the honey. You can be the honey, you can decide that I have had enough honey, I don't want all these flies attracted to me, I have one partner and that's it. But both types of people are there in the world. It is up to you to decide. If you are the loyal kind, why are you sitting with someone who, and spending life and giving years of your life to someone who is not the loyal kind, who for whom loyalty is a big pressure time bomb. It is a time bomb for him. That's why he is cheating. That's why he is accusing her of cheating. I hope this made sense, and if you have any questions, drop me a comment. Thank you.